Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 5, Hot Chains and Tickers. My name's Kevin. I go by Market Monk Picks on Twitter, and this is the 5th video in a series on the Unusual Whales website and how I use that to find day trades and really kind of maximize my opportunities in the market. And the page I'm going to show you today is a really useful feature in Unusual Whales, and I just want to take you through sort of the whole process of getting there. So this is the Hot Chains and Tickers page, and the way that you get there, when you're in the flow page, you click on navigation, and you'll see Hot Chains and Tickers here, and now you have a list of the hottest option chains of the day. So these are by hot, what that means is these are the highest volume option contracts from that particular day. And the first thing that you want to do when you get here is hide index and funds. And there you go. So a couple of things about these results here. You have the contract with its strike and expiration. So this is an AMD 150 call, and it expires this week on the 12th. You see the number of days here, which is helpful. I mean, AMD had a huge day, so it's not all that surprising that you would see that there. And then as you scroll through, you'll see Lucid, Ford, some Tesla puts here, and so on. So what do you do with this information? Well, I want to share with you a method pioneered by Red Hot Trade, and it's called fire fishing. And this can really help you to identify some candidates for trades. I've had previous videos where I've showed you how to read option flow overall. I've talked about whale alerts and some of the criteria that I use to enter those. And this is another strategy that you can use in conjunction with those. And we're actually going to demonstrate this method, and we'll look at option flow. We'll look at whale alerts. So they all sort of work together. The main thing you're after whenever you're doing this is you're looking for the particular option contracts and the particular tickers that have the most interest from the whales and give you some sense that they're going to move a price, and you hop in and you grab some profit along the way. So this is Red Hot Trade's Twitter page, and he has a lot of really good information here. He has a Discord room that's excellent, which I'll link to in the video. And so let's take a look at this. So he says that you go to Hot Chains and Tickers, which we did, and you're going to identify a ticker with 3 of the hottest chains. You're going to look for expirations within 14 days. At least one of the chains has to have a strike that's out of the money, meaning that the strike price is higher than the current underlying price. So using that method, let's see which ones today fit those criteria. And quite a few do. AMD does, for example. And I use this method today to make a trade on AMD, which I alerted in my Discord room, which is RT Stock Alerts. Well, it's his Discord room, but I have a page in there where I alert trades and provide some analysis. And I said scalping AMD 149 call. Usually I type out the full contract that I'm buying. I didn't in this case just because it was moving so fast, and I wanted to hop in and alert people. And I took those from a 333 entry to 4, and then it went up much higher than that, and eventually yeah, so it ended up going over 5, I think. I think that was when I ended up selling the last one. It was kind of a crazy, crazy day today. But in any case, that, yeah, here we go, 440. And I left one runner, I think. I don't know if I wrote that down. But in any case, to go from 333 to 440 in the span of, that was 1018, and last one 1126. So that was a really quick profit. And so I used this method because AMD was just all over the place here. And you can see, they're within 14 days. One of them, several of them, in fact, are out of the money. And I was able to hop in and locate it there. Now, let's take a look, though, at one maybe that will plan out a little more. And that would be Ford. So Ford has, so here's 2. These are both out of the money. Ford currently is 2015. So I guess one of them is out of the money. And here's another 20 call. We go down. That one's a little too far out, but here's another one, 21. So Ford fits some of the criteria. Now, what you can do as an additional step in fire fishing, which Red Hot Trade talks about, is to look at some of the alerts as well and see, has this been recently alerted? And you can see, not really surprisingly, Ford has quite a few alerts. Most of them are bullish. This one in particular kind of gets your attention. It's a little further out, but high volume there. So, okay, so there's some alerts on Ford, and that's good. Like this one's a put, but it's a sold put, so it's bullish. So there's some activity there, and this one in particular, this is way out of the money. So people are taking leaps on Ford. You have more recent alerts here. That one expired last week. A few others. Okay, so there's good activity on the whale alert. So the algorithm's really picking up on that. What else you might want to do is to look actually at some of the flow itself and see, where does Ford sit within that? Is this a stock where those chains are hot, but overall, what does Ford look like in the flow? In lesson 1, I talked about some of the filters that I use with like right now we have a $20,000 minimum premium. I have expiration set for the next 4. So okay, so Ford, within those parameters, you can see that Ford is extremely bullish, 97.2%. So there really isn't much of an appetite from the whales for ask side puts. I mean, it's on the ask side, it's almost entirely calls. And the expirations, the most popular one is slightly out of the money, which is something that I look for. So from there, the setup looks great, but we haven't looked at the chart yet. So where does that sit? Now, if I were doing this fire fishing intraday, something that I might want to do is make sure that I'm not buying it when it's too hot. Like it's by hot in this context, I'm referring to the relative strength index. So you can see Ford started off, and as with a lot of electric vehicle plays today, just took off right out of the gate, ran from under $20, 1940, all the way up to 2040, and then it dipped. And one of these dips is what you're going to look for. Now you can look at a chart after it happened and say, well, I'm going to buy right here. This is where I'm going to buy. Well, that'd be great. But, possibly you may have tried to buy here and you might have gotten stopped out. If you have a lot of conviction in one of these plays, a lot of times what you'll want to do is scale in. So you may have scaled in here, and you could have actually gotten out with a decent profit right here. Of course, it dipped again. But one of the things I do with the highest conviction plays, I do always take profit. I'll usually put the stop loss at entry, but I don't abandon those tickers. I'll go back to them. And here, so if I had entered here and then gotten stopped out, I might just wait and see, is this going to have a more sustained upside move? And here, in fact, it did. Now you'll notice these indicators here in TradingView are they're called AI signals, and I'll provide a link in the video. And you actually did get a buy signal here. Now, one of the things you can do to help with your entries is to get off the 1 minute chart and go instead to a 3 minute chart. And you'll see here, you get rid of some of those false alarms. And so if you were in with a fire fishing strategy, you could enter here. But I think also this is something that you can use to help plan out your trades the next day. These whales buying these contracts are not necessarily just day trading them back and forth. They're holding them. They're looking for a much bigger move. So that fire fishing strategy can, after the day is over, help identify some targets for the next day. So are we going to see some continuation from Ford with the infrastructure bill, with the option flow looking how it does? It's very possible that we will. So these hot chains and tickers can really help you to create a watch list and go into a trading day with 2 or 3 or 4 tickers in mind. So you're not trying to watch 10 stocks at once. So within this page, the next thing I want to show you is how you can cycle through different sectors. So 2 that I trade a lot are energy and financial services. So energy, I use a lot of oil. I trade a lot of oil stocks, and one thing with those that I look at oil futures the night before and into that morning. Of course, you're going to look at the pre-market activity, but I'll go into a trading day with some particular oil stocks in mind. So here we can see some of the higher volume ones. I haven't traded FANG a lot, but that one is actually looking kind of interesting. But so here we have Oxy was a high volume contract. So am I going to see this pop up more than once? I do see a put on it. Oxy beat on earnings, but it's been kind of beaten down a bit. So here is another one, and there's another one, but this one's pretty far out. Here's one. So Oxy is a possibility. So I might look further into that, do some research on it. XOM, XOM, Exxon, this is showing up quite a bit as well. So if we were to go into the flow and take a look at those, go into Oxy, and we can see that Oxy doesn't have any trades at the $20,000 level. So I'd have to go lower, but let's take a look at XOM and see what we have here. None with that. Okay, we'll go a little lower. And, okay. All right, there we go. So this happens sometimes. I had to reset my filters here. And okay, there we go. Yeah, so there is quite a bit of activity on Oxy today on the ask side. Expirations, I'll go into this really quickly. And say the 8th. Oops, not 8th. Yeah, 12th. Get my Fridays in order here. And there we go. Okay, so there's quite a few, some bearish activity late in the day. Setup looks pretty good. I mean, Oxy had a good run today, and so like if I were to go into the chart and I'm thinking about tomorrow, is Oxy going to give me a good entry? You can see that it spiked during the day, and then it started to sell off. Had some decent volume to start the after hours activity, went up a little bit, and that's fine. I mean, you know, I'm not looking for a 20% move on Oxy if I'm trading a weekly call on it. I'm looking at open if I'm watch listing it. I'm looking to see, you know, am I going to get a sell off to start the day? And that possibly could give me an entry. Am I looking for, like here, it had such a really good pre-market move. So I might be saying, well, you know, are we going to see some continuation here? And I could possibly hop in on it at open, which is risky. You want to use a stop loss and, you know, make sure that you get some continuation, you know, maybe after the first candle or so. And my lights went off. Hang on. But in any case, so, you know, Oxy with the fire fishing method looking pretty good, and might be something that I'll watch list for that next day. If we were to go into financial services, you know, PayPal reported earnings today. That's always something to keep in mind when you see hot chains and that stock's going to have earnings. That's certainly something to keep in mind. You'll see some crypto stocks here, Mara, for example, and that had a huge day. So that might have some continuation. SoFi could give you an opportunity for a run up to earnings. So I see some good possibilities there. But again, what this page does, it really allows you to zero in on some stocks. And, you know, if you just go into the flow page and you're looking at the flow for all the sectors at once, all the stocks at once, I mean, it can be kind of overwhelming, and you just kind of have this data overload. So hot chains and tickers, that zeroes in on one of the major things you're looking for, which are the highest volume contracts. And so from there, you can start to build your strategy. Are these being alerted by the whale algorithm? Are they, you know, what does their picture look like in the flow overall? Does it meet my criteria there? And then you look at your chart, and then you find your entry. You can also go through different market cap sizes. So, you know, what are the major small caps for today? SOS, you can see, has a lot of activity. Now, if you're going to trade options on these small caps, you're going to find that the implied volatility is really high. And so there's some risk there. And there's risk in anything, but there's a kind of enhanced risk with that. So you can also use this to locate day trades for shares, which has a little bit less risk on some of these. Root has earnings coming up, so it's not entirely surprising that you would see them there. You have mid cap stocks. Mara is just really crushing it here. So you're seeing them a lot. But take a look at the page, kind of tinker around with it, and the main thing is use these resources in the ways that are most useful to you. So, so just to recap, hot chains and tickers. From the flow page, click navigation, hot chains and tickers, hide index and funds. And from there, you have the hottest option chains overall. You can scroll through different sectors and market caps. The fire fishing method by Red Hot Trades. You find a ticker with the 3 hottest chains. Expiration should be within 14 days. At least one of those should have an out of the money strike, meaning the strike price is higher than the underlying price. Check for recent alerts in unusual whales. And I'd also add check flow overall for that ticker. And then you check the chart and you plan your entry. If you're looking for a day trade, obviously the most recent options are going to be what you're after. You can also use this method to locate swings. And if you're going to do that, you're looking at kind of the longer expirations. And for the chart, in addition to 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you'll also be looking at hourly, daily, weekly, etc. When I swing options, I look for the bottom plays, stocks that are recently beaten down by a negative catalyst or earnings. Peloton is one that stands out right now. Snap as well. These are stocks that are really down and that will recover to some extent. And in swings, longer expirations are what you're looking for, and you don't want to go too far out of the money, but you can locate a good target just based on that stock's history and where it might likely recover to. So I hope this was informative. I've really enjoyed making these videos. Lesson 6 is going to cover dark pools. So I look forward to making that. That should preview next week. Take a look at the info page on this video. You'll find a link to the Discord where you'll find my analysis and picks. I also link to Red Hot Trades, who I'm really thankful for his fire fishing method and everything he's been able to teach me about options as well. So I wish you all a really great trading week. And again, hit me up on Twitter with any questions. I try to answer the questions on YouTube as well. So thank you to all my new subscribers, and I will see you on the next one.